Welcome to Mr. Credit. We are live and local here in San Diego, bringing you the most important hour in radio and telling you everything they don't want you to know about consumer credit scoring. The bureaus, the banks, and the government is all up in it now, so we've got to keep our eyes peeled on them. They are sneaky. One game lead the Padres have over L.A. after losing last night to the Mets. We've got the Mets again today at Petco Park, 3:35 game, so the pregame will start not too long after the show here today. Make sure you tune in to San Diego 1700 for all the Padres broadcasts. Very good reason why you should save the station in your dial, not to mention the date you have with me every day at noon. Today, typically on Wednesday, we like to talk about bankruptcy, the truths. We go through the myths, the facts, try to give you the whole laydown. Today, Lisa Bowman and William McDonald couldn't make it into the studio because they had clients to attend to. One of the main reasons why I recommend them to you as the top bankruptcy firm in San Diego is because they care more about their clients than they do about coming on the radio. They care more about their clients than they care about making profit. They care about you. That's the reason I recommend them to you. If you or anyone you know has questions about bankruptcy, make sure you call the McDonald Legal Group. Ask for William. Set an appointment. Do a free consultation. 858-437-0103. Today we're going to be talking about many different things as they relate to credit. We're going to be talking about collections. We're going to be talking about high credit card debts with respect to your limits, medical bills, repossessions. We'll even try to get to short sale and foreclosures. And where does bankruptcy fit into all that? How does it affect those negative items once those negative items have already occurred? You know, a lot of people think, they get this in their head, that once something bad occurs to their credit, that it's over. My credit is screwed. I can no longer care about it. I'm exiting it from my brain. That's the last thing that you want to do. Remember, your score can always be better. You can always make your credit score go higher. And that's what I'm here to help you do. So, we're also going to be talking about how you can protect your credit. There's certainly ways to do that, no matter what situation you're in. So I'm going to give you the lowdown on exactly how to handle all these things and how to make sure that you're preventative in your measures to make sure that your score stays higher, not just goes higher from where it's at. First, let's get to the news. Don't forget you can go to MrCreditRadio.com if you want to email me. I'll get your emails later if I can. This one I thought was pretty interesting. This one actually was from Yahoo, Yahoo Finance, and it was, the subject of this article is 4 things credit card offers don't disclose. Now, we know that there's been this whole Card Act reform, and the credit card companies can only do so many things now, but we've told you about some of the tricks that they've already figured out loopholes through. The whole minimum payment thing, you make the minimum payments. They're still applying the principle to the lowest percentage balance first. It's only the amounts above the minimum payments that are actually getting applied towards the higher interest balances that you have on the card. But this I thought was pretty interesting because a lot of people get these credit card offers all the time. People think they're approved for them, but being pre-approved for those credit card offers doesn't mean anything. All that means is that the issuing bank has purchased your information from the credit bureau, okay, which means that you didn't sign up, you didn't opt out. Like I've been telling you to do, you got to go to optoutprescreen.com and opt out. If you're getting those things in the mail, then it's because they're pulling your information from the bureaus and sending it to you. All right? Don't let the bureaus, first of all, make money off of your name, and don't let the credit card companies have access to your information. Just don't let it happen. Go to optoutprescreen.com and you can prevent it. So here is what it is hard to find, and this is pretty interesting. So these are the 4 things the credit card offers supposedly don't disclose. Number 1, APR. Okay, what they don't tell you, these offers don't list the average going rate for all credit cards. Currently it's about 14%, so you don't have any context on whether the offered interest rate is fair or ideal. So the APR, which is the interest or the finance charge that you'll be charged if you don't pay your bill in full every month, some cards will actually waive this for 6 to 12 months as part of the introductory offer, but they don't tell you what that offer is in comparison to what else you could get. Also, balance calculation method, how they calculate the balance. Remember that different types of purchases on credit cards get you different interest rates. So a cash advance is one, a purchase is one, balance transfers is another one. So the balances that you're carrying on these cards have different interest rates depending upon how you got the balance. Most people think, well, I've got this card, it's at 10%. So whatever I do, I'm going to get 10%. Not the way that it works. Grace period. A lot of times this is very difficult to find in the fine print. Okay, but it must be at least 21 days. That's in the law. And what they don't tell you is that the due date falls on a weekend or holiday. You have until 5 p.m. the next business day to avoid a late fee. They don't tell you that. In fact, they probably don't even practice it. They implement the same tactics, the same mob-style tactics that the bureaus implement, which is just do it. And if somebody complains, then maybe we'll take a look at it. Maybe we won't. So that's the grace period. Then the 4th one is the cleverly named fees. So the annual activation, acceptance, participation, monthly maintenance, account setup. Precede the word fee. you'll be paying something, basically. And what they don't tell you is that these charges are deducted from the credit line. So if a card has a $400 limit and a $100 fee, your available credit is now $300. All right, and that makes a difference. We know how that affects your credit score. 30% of the credit score is based on how much available credit you have on your credit card. So we know this about credit cards. Look, there's no secret. They are a necessary evil for your credit. I mean, I wish it wasn't the case, but it just is. You have to have them. If you don't have a credit card, you're missing 30% of your credit score. So you've got to have one. Now, if your credit score isn't that great, or you have several credit cards but they're all maxed out, then you're definitely missing points there as well. But you can get more credit. You can. You have to get what's called a secured credit card. Now, yesterday someone came into the office and said, hey, he had a printout from Bank of America. He said, look, I went through all these hoops. I opened an account, I opened a savings, I opened a checking with Bank of America, and then I applied for a secured card and they denied me. Look, this is what I'm telling you. They decide based on whether they feel like they're going to make money or not. So if you're a customer and you don't have a bunch of money with one of these banks, they very well could deny you for a secured credit card. I mean, why do they want to mess with a $300 limit card where they can barely make any interest on it? You got to think, remember, it's all about the money. So if they don't feel like it's going to be profitable, they're just flat out not going to do it. And if, for some reason, you go through all these hoops and then you find out, well, now they at least figure, well, hey, at least we've got a checking and savings customer. You're not going to unwind that. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but they're trying to get those accounts. They're trying to get as many as they can because those accounts also accrue fees, and that piles up the money that fills the trucks that I guess they take to the bank. Where does the bank take its money to deposit it? I mean, does anyone have any idea? I don't know. But they get truckloads of it every day. That's all I know. Anyway, the bottom line is credit cards are necessary. You've got to have one. Don't trust that your local bank or the place that you have your savings and checking with is going to allow you to get a secured card with them. It happens all the time that that's not the case. Go to MrCreditRadio.com, click on the Educational Video Library. All right? In there, there's a section called Get Approved. In Get Approved, there is a secured card that you will get approved for. Unless you are a felon or there's something huge red flag, you are going to get approved for that secured card. All right? You can do as little as $300 to get it. And that'll get you a revolving account, a credit card account that reports to all three bureaus, and that is how you can really help protect your score. But now let's circle back to the idea of, well, what if I do have credit cards, but I've got high balances on my credit cards? I've got 3 or 4 cards, but most of them are, for the most part, maxed out. What do we do in that situation? Well, here's the thing. A couple things you have to consider. 30% of the credit score is based on your available credit, not just having credit cards, but you need to have a credit card in order to be considered for that 30%. So if your credit cards are maxed out, or for the most part maxed out, it's not as bad as not having a credit card, but it's starting to get toward that direction. Now, a lot of people think, well, I don't want to ruin, the credit that I've built up with these credit cards over time by doing something like filing for bankruptcy. But let me explain something to you very simply here. If you are in a situation where all you're able to do, if you're not making headway on these balances, if you're playing like the Pick 3 Lotto, hoping to pay off your credit card debt, or expecting, a family member to pass away or something so that you can eventually pay off your credit, that is not a plan, okay? That's hope. Now, hope is good and hope is important for a lot of things, but not when it comes to your debts, because the longer you sit there with these high balances on the credit cards, the longer and longer the banks are preying on you because you don't have any options. They're gouging you, and they'll continue to do so. They'll continue to gouge you for 20+%, sometimes 30+% interest while you're making these minimum payments, and they are applying the balance, the principal balance from that payment toward the balances that have the lowest interest rates first. And that's the trick. So if you have a high amount of credit card debt, and I'm saying, for some people call me and they say, I've got all this credit card debt and I have 15 grand. That's not a lot, okay? It's not bad, it's not horrible. Maybe it's more than what you'd want. But I mean, if you have 25,000 plus in credit card debts and you're having trouble making the payments on it, or it's affecting your lifestyle in the sense that you have to go and you have to get a second job, you have to stop doing things that you like, you have to cut off your gym membership, things that are a part of your life, a part of who you are. If anything like that's happening to you, you've got to consider, at least become aware of the option for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Let me explain how this works. Credit card debts in Chapter 7 bankruptcy get eliminated. Let me explain to you what eliminated means. They go away completely, deleted, gone. Any credit card debt that you have in Chapter 7 bankruptcy is removed. You don't owe the money anymore. They can't come back and get it 10 years from now. It's over with.